Hello.
Hey!
Are you guys
What's going on, podcast world? We got another fine guest for you today. Everybody say hello to Kat Jade. Hey!
Hi, Kat.
If I had one of those cool, like, little boards that did sound effects, I'd do the whole, the clap sound effect.
You don't have
the
one
crowd
of those?
cheer. I don't. I probably should, so I sound more like a DJ.
That's like the true marker of a podcast, is when you have a soundboard, you just push a button and all of the fake effects start for you.
Yeah, I know.
I got blasted by the foghorn at the last TMI thing. I was in the I was in the shower listening to it.
Frank's really into the foghorn.
He nailed me with it.
Frank's a former DJ, though, isn't he? I feel like he came from the radio world just like Tim Powers did, so.
We're talking about
he has all those.
Jim Frank.
Jim Frank, not Frank.
I call him Grunkle Frank. Or
Grunkle Frank. That fits. Jim's actually going to be a guest on the podcast here in a couple weeks. But today, we have our special Thanksgiving episode. Yay!
Yay!
And we are thankful for Kat and the fact that she decided to grace us with her presence. And we were remarking, Mitch and I were talking about this coming up, and he was excited. We've got some female representation. You are our first female guest. So
really?
Yes.
I am actually so honored.
Yeah. And we need to get more talented
special.
women on the show.
There's so many.
Bunch.
Yes, there are, and so we're going to work on that.
If you need a list,
equal representation. Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, that's the thing. We'll take referrals, and so if there's someone that needs to get on here and talk to us and get exposed to the Mitch and Mike audience, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Let's get a hookup. But right now, Kat, we are talking to you, my friend, and Kat is one of those special people that I met at the One Voice conference that we talk about a lot. She's part of Tim Powers' Mic Droppers crew, and so we got to know each other pretty well at the conference, got to be fast friends, and so we play Dungeons and Dragons with our other friend Larry Oblander as our DM, and it's a good time.
I thought we weren't talking about that.
We won't get too far into it.
I'll change topics real quick.
I'm just kidding.
Mike is one of three people that I had my first Whataburger with, which is it's something to be proclaimed, because that was a life-changing burger. That was
it's probably still with you.
Good.
At least
I don't think I've
bits
fully
of it.
processed it yet,
Right.
even though it was 6 months ago.
Yeah, Whataburger is good, but it is
though.
a heavy burger.
Is it?
Very
Oh
greasy.
yeah. Well, I like to say so. I'm from California, right? So California, I grew up with In-N-Out, and then I moved to Texas.
I was going to say, it's no
and
In-N-Out.
we get In-N-Out here a few years after I moved here, and I'm so excited. I was one of those people that waited for 45 minutes in the line at In-N-Out, put the hat on, got the burger, cried when I ate it, that whole thing, because it's the taste of home. and all these Texans are like, no, Whataburger's so much better, and I'm like, look, here's my comparison, okay? In-N-Out and Whataburger is like comparing apples to oranges. They are in the same genre, fruit-wise, I guess, but it's two completely different burgers. If I want a fresh, light, burger that hasn't been frozen and has fresh ingredients and it's just gonna taste fresh, I want an In-N-Out burger. If I want a super heavy grease burger, which sometimes you want, right?
It's true.
Sometimes you just
Sometimes
want
you need to poop.
that super dense, just like heavy burger that just satisfies all the taste buds on, and so Whataburger is good. If you ask me which one I like better, I will say I like In-N-Out a little bit better, but I don't dislike Whataburger. And everyone here in Texas is like, nah, In-N-Out sucks. Like, no, it doesn't. It's like you stinking Cowboys fans saying that every other team sucks.
Indianapolis for an authentic, real Juicy Lucy.
Yeah.
What is it?
Good.
What is a
You don't know-
Juicy Lucy? This sounds like something I have after Whataburger.
Oh man, a Juicy Lucy is
a few hours later I have a Juicy Lucy.
Yeah.
It's
Or a Lucy
cheese
Juicy.
injected into a burger patty,
Ooh, okay.
essentially.
Okay.
And it's not like a slice of cheese. It's like molten, gorgeous cheese.
This does sound amazing.
Cheese.
It is delicious. It was invented in Minnesota. And
Okay.
that is something you'll learn about me, is that like, you know how there are people who the state that they come from or the place that they're from is their identity? Well, I am slowly realizing that is me, that I am very much proud Minnesotan.
Oh, for sure. You're from Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It was actually, that was the first gig I ever got as a voice actor, was for iHeartRadio. They needed someone to do a Minnesotan accent, and turns out when you're from the St. Paul area, you can do that. So.
Were you advertising the hot dish there?
No, we were.
With plenty of ketchup on it?
It was actually, I mentioned a Juicy Lucy. I was playing a waitress, and we talked about the Juicy Lucies and the 10,000 lakes and all the wonderful things.
You even get fluttery when you say
I know.
Oh.
It's the there's something about like the Midwest accent, specifically when you lean into like the Midwest mom or like the 1950s kind of, here's your tater tot hot dish, you know, like the vocals go up and down and all over the place. And it's really cute and fun to do.
Yeah.
It's very distinctive too. I mean, it's you can definitely sink your teeth into that.
You recognize it immediately.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've got one of those what Sam Riegel described, because Kat and I were also in the GVAA had the Sam Riegel in as a guest.
It was an awesome webinar.
And it was a good webinar, and so Kat and I were in that, and we were chatting the whole time and everything. And you know, that's Sam was saying one of the things that's benefited him early on is that he has that neutral American accent, and you know, so he was able to kind of fit into a lot of things. I do too. You know, I have more trouble fitting in, but I'm probably not as talented as Mr. Sam Riegel, but I'm trying to get there. You know,
we're all getting there.
Yeah,
we're all technically peers.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're still in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm still in the Twin Cities. I'm not really sure if I ever plan on moving. Most of the jobs that I've done and most of the you'll have to forgive me, I have cats, so I get cat hair all over. If I sniffle a lot or if I feel like I'm playing with my nose, that's why.
Sure.
Yeah, we can handle it.
A lot of the coaches that I've had that actually like live in LA, I've asked them, I'm like, I need to move? And they will say, no, not unless you are doing dubbing. If you are dubbing, then you need to move to LA. If you're not, then animation and commercial you can do from anywhere as long as your setup's good. So one day, if that changes, it may change, but I'm comfy here, and I like the changing seasons, even though I have to use an electric blanket when it's 30 degrees out to stay warm. But I really do love the people and the nature, and it's just home for me.
Yeah,
that's great.
Home is where home is. That's a brilliant statement. So. That's something that needs to be on a T-shirt.
Just so insightful.
Right.
I think a lot of us voice actors now feel that way. We get to stay put around all the people we love and not have to drop everything to do the thing that we enjoy. When did you start? I didn't get to find that in my digging of Kat.
Yeah, so I technically started doing voice acting. I do voice acting, specifically starting in like 2022. But I've been acting on stage previously. So all throughout pretty much my teen years up into college, I actually went to college for musical theater performance. And then there was a period of time where my brain went and I did not do anything creative for about 10 years. And
That's
so
tough.
in 2022, during the pandemic, when I had time to kind of be introspective and figure out what was important to me, what my values were, I realized how important creativity was for me, specifically acting. And I went up to my husband and I said, I'm going to do this. And he said, okay, but you have to promise me something. I said, what? He said, you have to promise you're not going to commit to it 100%, and that if it fails, you're not going to blame yourself. Because I have this habit of I do all or nothing, right? And then when something doesn't work out, I blame myself for it, and I make it my identity, and which is what happened back in college.
Right.
So when he kind of gave me the permission to fail. That was a huge moment for me. That was when I went, okay, I can do this. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay. Even though I'm investing my time and my money and my energy into this, it's okay if it doesn't develop the way I want it to or expect it to. And I won't be necessarily a failure, even if I fail. That was a huge moment for me.
That is super important. That's a great story and a great lesson for everybody. It's fantastic that you have that support system at home, that you have a loving spouse who is supportive of you and gave you that permission to fail. I think, for you, obviously that's helped you a lot. Mitch and I have, similar supports with our spouses, and it's really great when you have that 100%, you go do your thing, and I'm behind you. But it's also important to know that this business is hard. And I think there's a lot of people, just like a lot of things, just like podcasting, right? You get into something like this, and if things don't click quickly, then you just throw it all away and you get depressed because things didn't work. And so
that's especially important for me personally. I was used to, I grew up in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we literally had a festival called the Corn Carnival. Okay, so
nice.
So when I say I was used to being the gifted kid and things just coming naturally to me and standing out amongst my peers, that's because my peers were a very small group. When I moved to college, and things just didn't just happen overnight, and I didn't see the immediate payoff. It was like I questioned my entire worldview. Am I supposed to do this? Is this right for me? Am I good enough to stand out amongst my peers? And in the stage world, there's a lot of other factors that play into that that don't necessarily play as much into voice acting. Yes, voice acting is competitive, but it's not, I think, as cutthroat as stage is. I don't feel nearly as much like my peers are also my competition. If anything, it's the other way around, that my peers are the ones that are cheering me on and saying, hey, I just auditioned for this. You would also be great. Try it out. It's such a different experience than theater on stage was. And while I do miss theater and the joy that physical motion can bring and performing in front of a live audience, voice acting in its own way is really special because I can be a lot more intimate with the audience. I can talk to an individual person as if they were there and not project for an entire audience to hear. It's a different experience, and each one has their pros and cons. They're both beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. Both of us have done theater as well, musical theater.
Not musical for me. I don't have a musical bone in my body. Sorry.
Okay. You might have been in a musical, huh?
I mean, I've been in a show that had a couple of musical numbers.
There we go.
I wouldn't call it a musical.
Okay. I think it is.
Okay.
I think something lands us here, right? Whether it's we're old enough to realize that we just have to, we found our thing, and now this is ours now. And if we do fail, fine. And if we don't, like you said, fine.
Yeah.
And then you keep going. You're like, oh, this. It just gets better. It's. I don't know if that feels that way for you two, but
no, absolutely.
I'm like, oh, it's like always better. That's really interesting. Everyone's nicer.
For the most part, I will say, for the most part. But I mean, we've talked about that before. Sure. We talk about that all the time, where if you're not enjoying this, it can beat down on you, the constant rejection or even lack of any feedback. You submit something through an agent or you submit something on an online casting site, most of the time, you're not hearing anything. You have no idea. You just submit it and you hope that they listen, and sometimes you get a thumb depending on what what site you're on, but you may not get that part. And you're like, well, how close was I? I have no idea. How good am I? If I'm not booking anything, I'm not good. So if you don't have that mentality of, I'm enjoying this, I'm enjoying the acting part of it, I'm enjoying getting in the booth and doing the thing, it can definitely get to be a downer, and either get some people to just back off, or get depressed and all those bad things. So it is very important to know.
Yeah.
I think the struggles.
Oh no, go ahead. No, you go, please. I talk enough.
I think the struggles that I've come across personally are kind of in line with that. I have allowed myself. Let me think how I want to phrase this. I have a sense of security in knowing that if it's right for me, it will come my way. If it's right for me, that whole que sera sera. If it's meant to be, it will be. Mm-hmm. I really lean hard into that as a voice actor, because there are so many times I will tell myself, that was in the bag, that one's going to be me, or I think I was good enough now, finally, yay, once you start thinking from a perspective of, maybe this one will work, this time for sure, to quote How to Train Your Dragon, that's when you start to lean into that kind of scarcity mindset. I don't like using that terminology too often, but you really have to lean on to the, if it's meant to be, it'll be. And I think the part where I struggle is the subjectivity of it all. Because you hear from so many people, so many contrasting ideas as to what is the trend in the industry, or what is best for an audition, depending on what genre you're auditioning for. And name one thing, name the next, it's all so subjective. For example, I've had auditions where I've been told, don't make the safe choice. Go for what is opposite of what they're expecting. Mm-hmm. Make it a bold choice, because they will notice it, they will pay attention, it's going to clue them in, because every other audition they'd have heard was probably going to be the safe one. Do the unexpected one, as long as it's a bold choice and is interesting and fits you, right? As long as it's authentic. And then make the safe choice afterward. Show them what you can do first, and then show them that you can do what you think they want you to do. But then I've also, I will create an audition like that and send it to one coach, and one coach will be like, that's perfect, that's great, it's totally different from what anyone would be expecting, which is what we want. And then I'll have another coach say, maybe try to stick closer to the spec this time.
Yeah.
So the subjectivity of it all is really what gets, I think, frustrating after a while. When you don't have direction during auditions, if you only have yourself to be directable off, you really have to just trust your own instincts, and that's hard.
Right. And
try to have as much fun as you can in that 1 second.
Yeah. and because whoever's listening to it, and we don't know who's going to be listening to it, they might have different ideas. We don't know what's going to hit. I mean, we could what we send to one person could be completely not what they want, but it could have fit something else because that's what they were looking for. And we've heard it too from people that they've submitted an audition and they've stuck to the specs, and it's exactly, they say don't sound announcery or whatever, and so they try to be as conversational as they can, and they don't get the part, and then they hear the actual ad, and it's some guy being the announcer, and they're like, why did it say don't be announcery if that's what you were actually going? And it's because the client doesn't know what they want. Half the time they don't know exactly what they want until they hear it. And so you just got to do your best to be what they want.
Here's the opposite of that for a second. I like the
opposites.
It was a Jason Sudeikis sound-alike. It was, please be like Jason Sudeikis. I heard the ad. It was Jason Sudeikis. It was him.
It was him. They just went, you know what? We don't want to sound alike. We want him exactly.
Or at least like
Jason Sudeikis is on voice 123 and saw it and was like, sound like Jason said. Well, I can do that. And so he got the part.
Yeah, he's just chilling in his basement. But
yeah. Sometimes that happens like that. So, what do you got, Mitch? You feel like?
No, you go, Mike.
Yeah,
you slapped the ball.
Kat, we got to 2022. You got into it, I tell us about what you stepped into first. What helped you? Talked about maybe the mic droppers, and talk about what got you to here. What successes, failures, all that good stuff. Where has Kat been?
Kat has been in her comfy little cozy hole, recording voiceovers. So, I guess, the very first thing I did, I kid you not, is I literally went online and I went, how to start in voiceover, just like everybody everywhere goes. How do I do this? And I very much wanted someone to tell me you can make it in the industry without blowing smoke. I wanted them to be honest with me and not just be like, you got chops, kid. You can make it big in this world.
Yeah, right.
Now give me $1,000. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I didn't really want to deal with that. So, especially when I had come from stage in which you have lots of people telling you stuff like that all the time. Like, you've got talent, kid. You can make... I didn't want that. I wanted a grounded, real person to say, yes, it's going to be tough, but you can do it anyway. And that's when I met Coach Tim Powers, which I'm sure you've heard his name multiple times. I know Larry has been on here and talked about it. I'm sure
Tim's been on.
Tim himself was on.
That's right. Tim actually was a guest. So yes, you've met him. He's a wonderful guy, and he was kind enough to remind me that it's okay to be silly and to have fun and not worry about whether or not anybody else thinks what you're doing is right, and to not be perfect, that being natural is more important than being perfect. And when I had come from 10 years of the corporate world where all you could be was perfect and a people pleaser, it was really hard to shed that. I realized that I'm being very wordy, so I'm going to try and succinct things a little bit.
This is about you.
No, you're doing great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sunk in. I'm listening, yeah.
See,
You're
trying
being
to be
very
perfect.
wordy because Mitch and I are just sitting here going, tell me more. Tell me more.
Hanging on my every word.
Absolutely.
So I worked with Tim, and he broke me of those habits of perfectionism, or he tried to anyway. He got a lot closer than most people. And I got my mic drop, which is kind of your inaugural, I've coached you, you've impressed me to the point with where I feel like that was a mic drop moment, and became a mic dropper. And that honestly was pivotal in my success. I truly think that I would have found the success anyways that I have, but it kind of, every gig I've ever gotten has been via word of mouth. You need people in this industry because you need people to see you and recognize your talent and refer you for things and say, hey, you need to meet this person, and hey, this casting director would be cool for you to meet. And networking is so essential. I hate the phrase, it's who you know, because it's not just who you know, it's also your talent and your ability to act, because at the end of the day, it's acting. But
who you know plays a part in that. Because you can be the most talented person in the world and not have any connection.
If you don't know anyone, nobody knows you exist.
Yeah. And
you're just
what I've
acting in
noticed
your
so
closet
far,
and no one hears it.
I've met a lot of I've met a lot from that group, a lot of people from that group. You are all hustlers, and you all have each other's backs. Mm-hmm. And you're all going. You're all running together. It's a really wild thing to see, since I'm not part of the group. I'm just Guy.
But you can see from the outside, one of the idioms that I hear all the time is that a rising tide, or something
lifts
rising
all
tide
ships.
lifts all boats, or rises all boats. Boats. Boat is one of those hard words when you're Minnesotan.
Boat.
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 Get in that boat.
A rising tide lifts all boats. Anyways. But it's very true. When you have a community of support, when one person succeeds, everyone succeeds, and you cheer them on. It's so important to not consider another person's success a detriment to your own, because
Absolutely.
again, that's that scarcity mindset. So yeah, I joined Mike's Droppers. I started booking gigs. My very first big gig was for iHeartMedia. It was the Minnesotan accent one. And then I did a few more commercials for them, and I'm going to stop myself right now, otherwise I'm going to keep using their voice.
You won't be able to get out.
We
I
love
won't
it.
be able to, no. I am currently working on a few other projects, namely an indie animated pilot. But most recently and most notably, not my video game, but a video game came out called Rogue Botters that I have the pleasure and honor of being one of the main characters for.
That's awesome.
And she just happens to be the coolest character I could wish for in a video game. She is spunky, and she's, without giving too many spoilers away, she is really one with like sea creatures. And her name is Shiv. And I kid you not, when I first heard her name, I thought like Shiv, like the weapon, not
Yep.
Shiver Me Timbers, because it's a pirate game. My brain, I was just thinking of it like
That
Skyrim,
makes
when
much
you use
more
a shiv
sense.
in your...
Yeah, I'm thinking she's in prison and she's, she's
Right.
sculpted her own
She's
thing out of a
spunky
spoon.
and stabby.
Right, spunky and stabby Shiv. Consequently, that's her in the video game with pirates, anyways. But that was kind of one of those moments that I still don't know if it's settled with me yet. That 2 years ago, if you'd told me I was in a video game, I'd been like, okay, whatever you say. But now being able to say that I'm in a video game, and it's not something that I think has really, like I said, settled with me yet. I'm still coming to terms with that. So, not like it's a bad thing. It just genuinely, when good things happen, sometimes it's hard to really accept them.
Yeah, well,
You're in the middle of it right now.
It's a thing. It's tangible. You can hear it, but still, sometimes it's like, did that really happen? Did I really do that?
I've played the game all the way through, and I see my name in the credits, and I go, "That's cool."
Hey.
But I'm
just
sure
in case
at one
anyone
point
else
it'll
wants
hit
to
me.
hear you, what platforms is it on?
Oh, it is currently on Steam, set to be released for Xbox, PS4, and I think Switch coming up in December.
Woo. That's sweet.
No, is that the
Man.
one that Larry was in and Mike Cunningham was in and Terry Briscoe was in? So all the four
Sure
of you?
is. Larry
Nice.
Larry Oblander, Terry Briscoe, and Mike Cunningham were all part of that as well.
Well, see, that's that group. That's that Rising. And it's a game about ships. So it's
It's a game
like,
about ships. It
Who
all
doesn't-
comes together.
it all comes together.
Who doesn't
We're
like
on-
pirates?
Naval oriented.
Yeah.
Man, that's all we're talking about anymore. So you got this gig and you just don't know how to take it still. I feel you there. Pretty much everything I do, I'm like, what's that next thing I was supposed to do? Oh, yeah, a bigger thing. So that might be how you're feeling. I'm not sure. But do you feel like you have a grip on what you really want out of this whole thing? Like, I just want to be video game Kat, or I really love commercials, whatever it is. I could kind of tell by the way you talked about both those things. I know the answer, but where's the good spot for you?
Believe it or not, my goal is to break out into children's animation, or family-friendly animation.
I believe it.
I really is me being completely vulnerable. I truly believe that emotional emotional intelligence and authenticity and all of those things where we understand who we are and introspection. I think those are really important at any age, let alone for kids. So a lot of the media that I see for children these days is really focused on that, which is amazing. That's so inspiring and encouraging, and I would love to be a part of that. My mission statement or vision statement, I never get them right, is I want to inspire meaningful reflection in every audience through vulnerable immersive acting. Whether that's a 4-year-old kid who understands now that just because I want that toy doesn't mean that I would not also feel so much joy from sharing that with someone else. Or if that means that I am in a video game and I am able to help an adult finally come to terms with their friend's death because they relate to a character in the video game that reminds them of their friend. Things like that really matter to me, and I truly believe that stories have that kind of power. It seems kind of
That's
I
deep.
don't know. It is. It's really it's not usually the answer you get when people say, "Why are you a voice actor?"
No, not at all.
For
When
sure.
people ask
And
that,
that's
usually
It's
it's because it's fun and I
commendable.
like making voices.
yeah, that's
I wish
pretty
I
much
could
Mitch and
steal
I.
that from you. I could not. I honestly, I've had this conversation recently. I really couldn't put any of that on. I thought it was for me, and maybe it is a little bit, but I think there is that in us, that wanting to tell a story that really connects. There's a really beautiful way of saying it, and thanks
Yeah.
for bringing that to us.
I mean, that was very eloquent. That was very poignant, and yeah, I mean, there is that in all of us. I think to some degree, that through our craft, we want to tell that story, and we want it to affect people that hear it. Now, sometimes you're just doing a really wild, crazy comedy, or you're doing a horror or something where it's like, well, I'm not sure how that's going to affect people, but it's good work. But I, like you, I would, my goal is children's animation. I would love to be in something. And for me, being of an advanced age, I do have grandchildren, and I will know that I've done the thing when I can sit and watch something with my grandkids, and look up the screen and look over at my grandkid and go, "That's your pa." And be like, "What?" "Yeah, that's your pa. He did the voice for that character." That would just make me cry, like big, deep man tear cry. And
Absolutely.
All
that's
over
my
your
goal.
grandkids.
That's like when I've done that, I can be like, cool. Anything else after this is cake.
I've succeeded.
Yes. Check it off.
One big
And that's
check
not
mark.
to
Now
say
let's
that,
just have some fun.
You can't enjoy, I'm not by any means attempting to invalidate anyone whose goals are just to have fun and be a voice actor because that's what they love to do and that's their passion. Absolutely. Like, that is an admirable goal that is 100% valid. I know how much media has helped me understand more about myself, and books and TV and video games are such a great tool for that. So for me, that's where that personal story comes to play. This is how media and stories have affected me. This is what I want to share with other people. So I am 100% all for using goofy voices and having fun, but I also like to share the message and share life lessons and help people learn more about themselves.
Absolutely.
Well, all right.
Yeah, and
So-
it's again, it's so cool that you even know that about yourself. Not everybody knows what the heck they're doing.
Been a
So
long time in therapy.
yeah, at least you have that
yeah, I
base
mean,
of
it
like,
is cool
the
'cause-
why. Yeah.
Yeah, Mitch and I have had plenty of conversations over the time we've known each other where it's like, yeah, we're doing this and there's reasons we're doing this, but sometimes we're still just kind of trying to figure out our way. And that's kind of why we started the podcast, is just be like, all right,
Absolutely.
let's get there with people. And so to have you come on and have that precision of what your goals are and have them be so commendable. That's just cool things. That's why we had you on, Kat, because we knew you're cool people, and that everybody now that much many more people who have heard you can admire you, and say that's the type of person I want on my project.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can take us along
Thank
on your. We'll just grab onto your coat and be drug along with you.
I'm doing that with Larry. Well, let's just start a train.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know,
I'll run a train
I'll hold
on Larry.
Larry's coattails.
Easy.
You hold on to mine. Mitch can hold on to yours, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the other way around. Are you holding on to Mitch's, Mike?
I don't
No.
think Mike wants to
No.
hug me from
You
behind.
each have
so-
one coattail.
Oh boy, oh boy.
All right.
Mike.
Well, yeah. Here it is. I see the itch occurring.
And it's not that kind of itch, Mike. I want to act.
Yeah.
Is it a game time?
I want to
It's-
have a game time.
You mentioned playing around and having fun. I think it's time for that.
I
So
like games.
with that, we will pause, and we will come back through the magic of radio, of podcast, and everything, and we'll have something fun for all y'all listeners with our friend Kat. All right,
Jade.
Kat Jade.
Kat.
Yes. Hey, gang, we're back.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. All right. We got an interesting selection for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's an eclectic mix of characters that, well, we'll see if you like them.
Yeah.
All right. Boys and girls, you ready?
Tell us about it.
All right. The scene opens at the checkout counter. Zach, the stoner, stands with a few items in its basket, looking around confused. Cheryl is scanning his items with too much enthusiasm. Gary, the boss, is walking by and notices the scene.
Beep, beep, boop. Beep, beep, boop. Oh, I love the sound of this thing. Don't you just love it, Gary?
Cheryl, can we speed it up a little? We've got a line.
Yeah, I'm good. Totally good. Just, I need to grab my stuff and bounce, you know?
Oh, you made the best choice. These chips are so crunchy, like the crunchiest. They're like snap, crackle, pop, but like in the best way. Do you like crunchy stuff? Because I love crunchy stuff, right, Gary?
Cheryl, please, just check him out already.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, chips, totally, man. Crunchy, yeah. It's all like, wait, you got any, like, cosmic donuts?
Cosmic donuts? Oh, you mean like those chocolate ones with the sprinkles that look like little galaxies?
Yeah.
Or the ones that taste like happiness? I totally ate one last week. The universe inside my mouth exploded, okay? It was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Cheryl, we are still talking about cosmic donuts. Can't you see we have a line?
Yeah, man. Gary, chill out. I need those donuts. Cosmic donuts, okay? Whatever.
Alrighty. Looks like your total is $23.17, but that's not including the universe tax. I'm just kidding. Or am I? I don't know. My head's in the stars right now.
Oh, yeah. I totally, I got it.
You stoner kid, you're gonna have to hurry up. You've been in this line longer than some people who've been here shopping.
I think I have enough. Maybe, wait. Here it is. Wait, no, that's a receipt. Wait, this is definitely not my wallet.
Ooh, are you getting the right cosmic energy to pay for it, Zach? You gotta feel it, man.
All right. That's enough. Just pay her, please.
Yeah, cosmic energy, payment. I'm cool with everything.
Oh, thank you. And enjoy the chips. the donuts, and the cosmic vibes, my friend.
Yeah.
Next time we have an opening, we're hiring someone who can stay focused.
I don't know, Gary. I think he's just, well, in a better place than us. Who's next?
Hey. You were like channeling What We Do in the Shadows there. That was awesome.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what We Do in the Shadows is? Oh, it's a great show about vampires.
Lot of things.
Yes, and the female lead, she has this kind of accent. It's wonderful.
Wow.
See,
you
you
pulled it
sound
from the universe.
Like the bat from Anastasia.
Oh, yes, you know the one. Yeah, I know the one.
Yeah,
the one
that
yes.
one.
I can't remember his name, but he sounds kind of like this, and he's very,
That's
yeah.
Scary good, actually.
Thank
That's
you.
like,
I don't do a lot of
That was
impressions,
awesome.
but I can imitate a few things. Yeah, no, hey, people, What We Do in the Shadows. Great show. Last season is coming up, so check it out.
And
check
they're
it out.
sponsors. So.
check it out.
Yeah.
Sponsored.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm. That was
All right.
amazing.
Super
I was
fun.
happy to see you real time do the thing. That was really cool.
It was a lot of fun.
You're too grumpy, Mike.
Those are, yeah.
You know, yeah, somehow I get assigned those characters a lot. I don't know why.
It's because you're such a grounding presence.
the old
you know?
man in me.
Everybody else is up in the clouds and the cosmic and whatever, and you're just,
Get off my
back to work.
lawn.
yeah, that one.
Yeah, I can channel that energy really easily. All right, well, hey, Kat, it has been a blessing to have you on this show. You bring just so much vibrant energy, and I'm sure all of our many listeners are going to be like, where can I find this person? And those of you who don't know Kat, get to know Kat. She's an amazing human being. So,
And where
really
can we
appreciate
find
you being
Kat?
on.
You can find me at my website, katjadevo.com. KATJADEVO.com. Ooh, I should make a jingle.
There you go.
That'd be sweet.
That's pretty much the main place you're going to find me. Also, check out Rogue Waters because it's super fun, even if you're playing it to listen to yourself talk. It's kind of enjoyable. No, I mean, in all seriousness, even if I wasn't in the game, it's super fun. It makes you think. It's tactics based. It's super fun.
Cool.
I don't know how many more times I can say super fun without
Mike,
sounding
Yeah.
weird.
I'm so sorry, but I forgot my question that I wanted to ask.
Oh yeah, you're new. Like, ask every person this question. Do it.
Yes,
do it.
it's very
Do
big.
it.
Who is your up-and-comer? Who are you watching and going, yes, yes, yes? Call them out right now. Call their name, and they shall arise.
I want to pick a woman because I am
Do
the
it.
first woman
Yeah.
on the podcast, and
Do
I
it.
feel like it should create more. Watch out for Femi. If you don't know Femi, she is your new favorite F word, and she is just this crazy, boisterous, and yet like super sensual personality. She's the kind of person that intimidates me a little, not in a bad way, but in the kind of way that's like, she's going to say something, and I don't know if that's going to upset my parents. But she's brutally honest and authentic and so wonderful. And she deserves some limelight for sure. She's an amazing person, and I truly think that she would be a great guest for the show.
All right, we'll keep an eye
Sweet.
out for her. Refer to us.
Sure,
if you
Femi,
get the
one
chance.
name.
Femi.
All right.
I can get you
Awesome.
her full name, but she is Femi, like Prince, like
Nice.
Share like Kat.
yeah, like
Yeah. All right. Well, Kat, again, to reset the ending, it's been great having you.
Sorry.
You're a wonderful person. You had to do what you had to do, right?
I'm sorry.
You had to get that question in. But yeah, we'd love to have you, and we appreciate you being on the show. So
thanks
to
for
everybody
having
out
me.
there,
Truly,
look her up.
super fun.
All right. We'll see everybody.
Bye,
Happy
everyone.
Thanksgiving.
Happy
Happy Thanksgiving.